লর্ডশিপ আমরা কি শুরু করতে যাব লর্ডশিপ?
Yes, 9:30. Let us start.
Learned friends, all of welcome to today day 7 for 40 hours mediation training in Bangladesh under supervision of the Honorable Justice Muhammad Iman Ali sir. Today's our topic is opening statements of mediators, is the vital requirements of a mediator, a good mediator. And today's research persons will be Madam Chow Ying Wan Makaram, or family name is Lily. She obtained her master's law degree from California University in USA. And also she is a mediator of the Ministry of Justice in Thailand, and also regional director of BIMS in Thailand, and also chapter chairman of Africa Asia Mediation Association in Thailand. And she is a good mediator, one of good mediator of world, that is Global Mediation Forum. Now I am requesting Madam Lily to present your topics.
Thank you, Mr. Goswami, for a warm welcome and a warm introduction. I would like to say good morning to all of you. Right now, in where I live in Thailand, it's 10:30, and it's in Bangladesh, it's 9:30. And we'll be having this class until I believe it's 1 p.m. over there, right? Okay. So today's topics, as Mr. Goswami has introduced, is about the mediation.
Sorry, just one small correction. We finish at 12 o'clock for the morning session and start again at 2:30.
Oh. Is that right? So
yes, that's because today is Friday, so it's a longer time needed for prayers. So we finish at first session at 12 o'clock.
So we finish at 12 o'clock.
Our time. That will be 1 o'clock your time.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for correcting me. All right, so today's topic is about mediators opening statement. And let me share my screen with you. Can you now see the presentation? Hello? Okay. You can see the slideshow already, right?
Yes, we see it, yes.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Okay, so for today's objectives, I would talk about the mediation process first, and then we will go through the mediator's role, and then we will go through the opening statement checklist. And after that, I will let you see some opening statement demonstration, and we will end up today's class with the workshop. So all of you will be practicing the actual mediator, the actual opening statement. A little tips for today's online training. So just join the workshop. During the training, there will be some kind of activities that I would like you to join, and if possible, give some positive feedback to your colleagues, to your friends, and be punctual. Thank you. A little bit before starting the class, I really just want to hear some of your voices. I really want to show you these two photos. The one is the flower on the left, and then the right is car. You may be wondering, why do we staring at these photos? Because I just want you to share some of your opinion. What is your favorite flower, and what is your favorite car? Just to, you know, like warming up today class vibes. So for example, my favorite flower is lily. Obviously, because my name is Lily, and the lily itself is, the flower itself is beautiful. It smells good, and it's the kind of flower that make your day. And for the car, my personal choice is I love Land Rover because it's tough and functional. Anybody else want to share with me? It can be anyone. Your favorite flower, your favorite car. We'll be doing a lot of talking today. So just, you know, like share with me, talk to me. Start with easy topic like, what is your favorite flower and your car? What, it can be what car that you're driving to work. What kind of flower would you like to buy to your wife? Anybody?
Let me start and break the ice if I can.
Thank you.
My favorite flower is a carnation.
Ah, nice.
Because it gives a variety of the petals. The shapes are different. And my favorite car, like you, is the Range Rover because it's comfortable. Yes. And because of my bad knees, I prefer to sit a little higher up. I would prefer the convertible because it gives you fresh air. But if we can get a Jeep with a convertible roof, that would be the best.
Yes, I agree with you. Well, thank you for sharing, and thank you for being the first one to share with all of us. Anybody else? Your favorite flower, your favorite type of car. It can be SUV, it can be a minivan.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. My favorite flower is jasmine because of its fragrance. It's beautiful. And my car is SUV because it's running over anywhere and moving to my fast anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That's very, very great choice. Anybody else? Three more persons, please. Yes, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. My favorite flower is actually water lily.
Oh, water lily.
Yes, and that's our national flower in Bangladesh.
Wow.
And I don't know what is my favorite car. I never thought about it.
That's all right. Well, thanks for sharing. Water lily, is it similar to lotus?
Yeah. But okay. it is white actually. Okay. Lotus seems something like pink, but water lily is totally white.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for sharing with me and the class. Well, thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Feel free to speak up. I don't bite. Flower and car. It can be just flower. Or it can be just car. Can I hear some of the lady voices?
Maybe it's because our Friday is like your Sunday, so everybody's still half asleep.
That's all right. That's all right. I'll continue. So, well, thanks all of you for sharing with me. A little bit warming up. Next, I'll go for the next slide. Okay. So our first first topic today is about mediation process. I would like to talk about mediation process because during delivering the opening statement, we need, as a mediators, we need to know the whole process of mediation. Well, I believe that the other speakers will provide this full class about mediation process, because it's not going to be easy. You need to take more than just 2 hours to learn from the number stage 1 to stage 7, and then there are many skill practice coming along. But for this, I just want to walk you through. So there are seven steps for mediation. So the first step is the mediator give opening statement, and then is the party's turn to give their own version of their statement. It's like why you're here. Okay, both of them share their own facts, and then identify matters for discussion. During this process, it could be the parties identifying the matter by themselves. But if they do not giving anything, as a mediator, you can show them, oh, is it what are you talking about? Is this what you show me? Is this the right topic that you want to talk? Just tell them something, and then if they agree, you can continue with that topic, and then explore and define problem. You can see the triangle up here that we focus on the past and the present. But from the 5, 6, and 7 step, we focus on the future. So for mediation, unlike going to litigation, we do focus on the past, present, and future. We're not only just focusing on the past as if you go to litigation. So this is a big difference between litigation and mediation. And for the 5th step, you mutually explore options together, and then you evaluate options and negotiate. And at the end, you finalize the agreement and close if it has come to an agreement. Mediator's role. Okay, I want to show you this photo. You may have seen it before. What do you see in this photo? What do you see in this photo? Have you seen this photo before? No? What about this one? Can you see a lady? Yes. Yeah. Okay, I see many of you not. What else do you see in this photo? Can you see an old lady? Yes, I see some of you not. Yes?
I think both the photos are the same, and the previous one is colorful and the latter one is black and white.
Yes, that's right. Thanks for sharing. Well, the first one, can you see an old lady or you see a beautiful woman?
Nope. I think she's a girl with golden hair.
Yeah, a beautiful woman. Yeah, I can hear that. And this one, you see an old lady, right?
Yeah.
And did you also see a beautiful lady?
No.
Okay. This is the tiny note, and this is her eyelash, and this is her skin.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Now you can see a beautiful young lady. And at the same time, you can also see an old lady. So this is the big nose and a chin right here.
Yeah.
Now you see what I mean, right? Okay. What about this photo? What do you see?
It seems a rabbit.
Rabbit, right. Anybody else see something different? Or you also see rabbit.
Maybe a bird head, small bird head.
Yeah. What else? Can you see a duck? Is it a duck or a swan? A duck? Yeah. Right here is a beak. Sure. And for the rabbit is this side is their ears, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And for this photo, husband and wife, they share the same thought. I do everything around here. The wife will maybe like, okay, I have to do the dishes every day, many times a day. And for the husband said, okay, I have to go out and work really hard. And when I come back home, I still have to help you with the cooking and with the house chores. So both of them have the same thought that, hey, I do everything around here. I'm tired. So you think anybody, like the husband or the wife, are they wrong about this? Well, the point that I'm showing you of this photo, because of this photo, they have more than one meaning in one photo. So for example, this photo, you can see both beautiful and old lady at the same time, right? These two photos. And for this one, you can see rabbit and you can see duck. And for this one, you know, like they share the same thought, but they're not wrong. None of them are wrong. So the point that I'm showing you of this photo, because being a mediator, you do not judge a person. You never judge the parties right in front of you. It is not easy to do so because, you know, like we are all only human. We may have bias over some issues, but when you be a mediator, when you deliver a role as a mediator, it is very crucial to be neutral, to not to judge a party right in front of you, any parties right in front of you. Is that clear? So they may have, so party A may have their own version of fact, and party B may have their own different version of fact, but they have different version of fact. Who is right and who is wrong right here? No one. But the thing is that you need to listen to them, and then that you will find out more about their own version of fact. And then as a mediator, you will help the mediator process to help them go through their own problem. And finally, they will come up with their own solutions. Is this clear? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. For mediator, the role of mediator. Can you see only my slide? Do you also see my Word file? Just the slide, right?
Actually, we are seeing, we see your whole screen of your laptop. You can zoom your slide.
Okay. For the mediator role, as a mediator, mediation is the most successful when mediators are knowledgeable and skilled in the principle of mediation process and negotiation theories. Negotiation in mediation is also very important. Mediation can easily fail when mediator acts as if they were in a courtroom and they judge the party right in front of them. Mediation presents unique problem-solving opportunity in which mediators can assist their clients or their party to reach faster and cheaper or better outcome with an assistance of a mediator. In terms of cheaper, I'm not sure it is cheaper for mediation in your country, but in my country where I live, Thailand, mediation is not always cheaper than going to court. But it is faster for sure. So therefore, many people find it more beneficial to use mediation. in mediation, the role of mediator will be to act as a neutral person. Bear in mind that mediator is not a judge. I keep telling you this because you cannot judge your parties. They may have different version of truth, but you have to be very neutral about this, and you will not determine who is right. Instead, the role of mediator is to help the parties to come up with solution. You help them come up with solution, but you do not come up with the solution by yourself for them. To do so, in most mediation, the party will be in separate rooms. This is called private session. And mediator will spend time going back and forth between party A and party B and speaking and conveying the offers and some other facts that each party would like the mediator to share. As you will get to learn this session, I believe, with other speaker in the detail. So in short, mediator role is to guide the discussion, to clarify the issue. Bear in mind that the mediator, you're not the judge, you're not the attorney, even though you are a judge or you are an attorney outside this mediation room. But when you're sitting as a mediator, just throw that away and do not make any judgment, forming any view or imposing a decision. You may act as devil advocate, as if, you may ask difficult questions and you do the reality checks and concession made by each side. Reality check offers, meaning when they come up with a solution, when they have answer for this question. For example, okay, I will give you back the money for 1 million USD. And then as a mediator, you said, okay, when are you gonna deliver this 1 million? And how do you gonna deliver this 1 million? Is it gonna be by check? Is it gonna be by cash? You go through that. It's like the reality check. And then, is it possible to make it happen on this date? Go through some reality check to make sure that the agreement that they give right here can be happen in the future. Otherwise, you have to come back for mediation again. It's a waste of time. So it's the mediator role to do that. And these are some skills for negotiators and mediators. So you got to have a good listening skill, psychological concerns. You have to be empathy and have to be clear and effective in communication, analyzing information, organizing ideas, and be aware of cultural differences. Nonverbal communication. What is nonverbal communication? Nonverbal communication is actually very important in mediation because you need to have eye contact with your parties. You cannot only just take notes all the time. You have to you have to ask questions and use your gesture to show that you are listening, to show that you are interested in what they're saying. And as in for today, we'll be practicing two skills, which is listening skill and empathy skill. It's gonna be fun. But before we're going for a workshop, I would like you to know a little bit differences between empathy and sympathy. You may heard these words before, you may use it before, but these words are similar, but they are completely different. So I would like to point out some of their differences. So for empathy, it is the ability to identify and understand another person's situation and feeling. Why sympathy is your feeling of sorrow and pity for someone else's misfortune. You see the differences? For example, for sympathy, you may say, oh my God, that is really bad. So when you're saying this, you feel pity for someone else's misfortune. Okay, for the second one is empathy. You can understand another one's situation, But for sympathy, you can't really understand another people's situation, that why you say something that may hurt their feeling. And for empathy, you may have similar experience in the past. And for sympathy, you do not have similar experience. And for empathy, your understanding and acceptance, the understanding and acceptance are evolved, while empathy, just pity, sorrow, and concern are evolved. Some example of empathic response would be like when you're listening to someone, you say, I'm sure that must be challenging. And instead of saying, oh my God, that is very true. See, you see the difference right here? You can say, I identify with what you're going through. You do not judge them. So you say, okay, thank you for sharing this with me, to encourage your party to tell you more about what they're telling you. How did that experience make you feel? I appreciate that you trust me with this information. See, you show some interest, you show gratitude about this. I have had a similar experience. I can see why this is bothering you. I support the decision you make. So while being a mediator, there will be tough situations that happen right in front of you. The word that you choose is very important. So try not to judge the people right in front of you. The phrases that you use, the sentence that you use, to try to show empathy instead of sympathy. That's why today I would like you to practice the empathy skill by setting up in a group of 2. I'm not sure will there be any admin to help us break out a room? Is there an admin right here? Hello? So I would like to set up a group of 2s in a breakout room in a group of 2.
Mr. Goswami, I think Lily needs some help from the people running the show.
Yes. Will there be able
I think
to...
better is possibly if you are made a co-host or a host, then you can do it yourself.
Okay. I may need your help in order to do so. Do you know how to break out a room?
Breakout room is if you can't do it unless you're a host.
I think
so
I'm a co-host.
If you're made a host, co-host, I'm not sure whether you can do it, but if you're see if at the bottom of your screen, do you have the function of breakout room available to you, where you say participant, chat, share, record? There should be also a breakout room function. If not, then you would have to be made a host. In that case, you can make your breakout rooms. Alternatively, BIMS may be able to make breakout rooms for you.
Is there anybody there from BIMS? Because we're gonna need to do many breakout rooms today.
BIMS এর কে আছেন ওইখানে co-host কি breakout room বানাতে পারবে নাকি আপনাদের বানিয়ে দিতে হবে? দেখেন একটু চিন্তা করে তাড়াতাড়ি করেন।
Let me stop sharing for a moment. Okay. So it should be in the chat.
No, not in the chat.
Not in the chat.
See, I'm neither host nor co-host, so I can't see what there is. But usually it's...
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Co-host and co-host both can't do that because it's needed another plugin called one-to-one group chat.
Okay, could you please let me know how to do that?
You have to install a plugin then you can do this. I can make you host.
Okay. Well, if co-host can do it, I mean, like, you don't have to switch me to co-host.
Host and co-host can do it, but you have to install a plugin.
A plugin? I'm not sure what is that. Can you help me do that? Are you?
You will see an apps section.
Could you make me a co-host, please?
Sure. As I am not host now, I have make.
Lily, perhaps, Miss Lily, perhaps you could make me a co-host.
Okay. How do
I'm Justice Imanali. So you go to where it says host, there's more. No, you go to my name, and on more you can, I think you can choose co-host. If you click on my name, maybe there's a provision of making me co-host.
Who is speaking right now? I don't see.
You see my name, Justice Imanali?
Okay. So now you mute the video, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So make a call.
Okay. I am.
Okay.
So that's it. Now you've done that. Okay. Done. So let's see now. So co-host doesn't have a breakout room facility. Usually host has a breakout room facility.
So
can you see down below where you have the tabs, participants, chat, share screen, etc.?
Yes.
Do you have one there which says breakout rooms?
No, I don't see any. No. So BIMS, if you're listening, could you please help us separate in a group of 2, except me, just the participants.
Okay, let me try.
Thank you. A group of 2.
How many groups do you want?
How many people do you have in to join the activity right now?
We have, I believe, more 30? Than 30 participants.
Yes. So if all of you willing to participate, just in a group of 2. So it's going to be 15 breakout rooms. At least, I think. Except me.
Okay, it's currently not possible because I have to install also the plugin. This is also not available in my apps also. So after I can install the plugin and update my Zoom apps, then it will be possible. So we have to end the meeting, then we have to install the plugins, then we have to restart the program again.
Okay, so there is no able to do the breakout rooms. Okay, that's gonna be a little bit of problem, but that's all right.
Let me see if I can do something. If you make me host, let me see if I can do something.
Usually the host should be the one who's doing it, but I'm not sure.
Okay, can you please make me Sir Justice Imanali as a host?
Can I do that? Okay.
Yeah. Again, you go to my name and then.
Yeah, I think I changed you as a host. Now you're a host.
Okay, right. Okay. Please carry on. I think what you should do, if I may suggest, is that you carry on until we are able to make the breakout rooms. You please carry on, do the other things that you want to do.
Okay, sure. So let's talk about the opening statement first. So there are some checklists that you need to know about opening statement before you being able to deliver one. opening statement in mediations. Mediation process, as we know, begins with opening statements. Mediator will generally get the ball rolling by introducing him or herself, a good opening statement. A good opening statement builds trust and put the mediator in control of the process. A poor opening statement erodes disputants' confidence and permits the eruption of power struggles between mediators and parties. Mediation can be very stressful for parties involved, so it is helpful to try to create a positive, relaxed atmosphere where cooperation is encouraged. So mediators, I believe mediators have their own style. So for me, sometimes I put on a smile to welcome them. But you don't have to do that. But some people they like to be serious. That's all right too. But you can try to set and create a positive environment by doing other things. All parties should be made to aware that the mutual respect would be expected, as there should be a desire form all involved to reach an agreement. There are 3 purposes for mediators' opening statement. So one is to introduce the parties to the mediator and to each other. And 2, to explain the mediation process. And 3, to establish the trust.
Ma'am, I want to know a thing from you, that if there is any situation before the mediator that comes in practice, which is found in many times, that the client or the person, those who have come to the mediator, in that situation, the one party is known to the mediator, but it is expressed, and in that situation, what to be done in that situations?
That is a very great question, Badal, right? Can I call you Badal? Is the question about the confidentiality? Is that correct? It's about confidentiality and about being neutral. I will be explaining about both neutrality and confidentiality later in this class. Just bear with me, and then until that part, I'll be answering your question. Is that all right?
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you. So mediator plays several roles in preparation process, and one of the initial jobs will be to educate your parties, as known as the compliant and the respondent. This means taking some time during the opening statements to explain what is your role and what your role will be throughout the mediation. After defining your role, you can also explain their contribution to the proceeding. Both of these tasks help the mediator to create a sense of credibility and build trust with the party. Once the ground rules have been set, the next step is to ensure that both parties are aware of what is expected from them. To drive this point home, obtain a commitment from all involved that they intend to mediate in good faith and to come to an acceptable outcome. Before moving on to party opening statements, so you have to be sure to ask if anyone has any questions. Again, answering this in advance will help to lessen anxiety of the party and will show that you have everyone's best interest in your mind. About the length of the opening statement. While the list of basic components may seem long, most elements are described quite briefly. A mediator opening statement should be long enough to cover all points. I'll be showing the list, the checklist of opening statement that you have to cover in the slideshow. So opening statement typically run it could be 3 to 7 minutes. Opening statement will be longer if many questions are asked or if the function of the opening statements must be also fulfilled. Goals of educating the parties about some aspect of mediation. about the order of which checklist should you go first. It doesn't really, it should be flexible. The order of the topics in the opening statement is quite flexible. For example, in mediation, where there is high tension between parties, a mediator may decide to address ground rule early in the statement, but usually with the ground rule, I will put that in rather at the end. Well, again, it's flexible. If mediator credibility must be established, more time may be spent building the confidence in the mediator. And I'll show you the checklist. Let me share the screen with you again. Okay. So here are the opening statement checklist. So the first one would be that you have to cover is introduction. So you introduce yourself and your co-mediator, introduce the partner, you introduce the parties to each other. You thank everyone to coming, check how they would like to be addressed, using their first name or last name, check they have authority to settle, and check whether they have signed the agreement to mediate. You may not have an idea of how to deliver opening statement yet, but don't worry. We'll go through all the checklists first, and then after this, I'll show you to do it. And the next thing that you have to show them is to show the parties to describe rule of mediation, saying that mediation is voluntary and it's non-binding to the point of agreement. And it is without prejudice. Any offers, concessions, or admissions made in the course of the mediation cannot be used if we don't settle. Mediation is confidential. The aim is that parties come up with the solution by themselves. And next, you describe mediation process. Show your party, describe that, okay, right now we are doing the opening statement. We will start with the opening statement, and then we will ask, and then the mediator will ask parties to present their understanding of their case, the background, or the version of their own understanding. And then private individual meeting after opening statement. And you have to let them know that the private session or private meeting are absolutely confidential. And then you talk about solution. When they come up with their own solution, is then agreement that can put into writing form, and everybody gets a copy of the agreement. And then you set up some ground rules. For example, you put phones on silent mode, you allow one person to talk at a time, and then the conclusion, you thank the party for participating, remind them about the purpose that why we are here. We are here because to reach the settlement. And before moving on to the next session, which is their own opening statements, are there any questions before we begin? Make sure that you ask this question, because if they go through the next session without really understanding the whole process, and then you have to call them back again and do the opening statement one more time, or the mediation may not be successful. Later on, I'll be showing you a demonstration of how to deliver my own version of opening statement. Okay. Good morning. Welcome to Europe. Can you hear me? Yes, right. Okay. Mediation, and please make yourself comfortable. It is nice to put faces to voices and to finally meet both of you in person. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Chawiwan Nek Apon, and please call me Lily. May I know your names, please? And how would you like me to address you? And what about you? Okay. The first thing I say beyond welcome is congratulations. Now, I know I need to explain that because you're thinking you have only just arrived, so why am I congratulating both of you already? Because the very decision to choose mediation is a significant one and one likely to end in settlement. In fact, about 80% of people who get to the place that you're at, that is into mediation, reach a full settlement. Choosing mediation isn't an easy thing to do. It takes courage and maturity. But now that you're here, the chances are very much in your favor. Now, can I check that both of you have an authority to settle? And furthermore, please review the agreement to mediate I have given you. If that's okay, please sign. Thank you. Mediation is a voluntary process. If you like any of the parties, this mediation cannot take place. The mediation will not binding until we reach the point of agreement. Now, I would like to walk you to a very crucial point, which is without prejudice. Without prejudice in this mediation context means any offers, concessions, or admissions made in this course of the mediation cannot be used if you don't settle. I will keep all that I hear in this mediation confidential and will not share any of it with anyone. I also request you to keep what is discussed confidential as well. Mediation is negotiation with the assistance of a neutral party, the mediator. I'm here to help you negotiate. And our goal is that both of you will finally come up with solution and reach settlement. Me as a mediator only assist you to reach that goal. I will not make any judgments, forming any views, or imposing a decision for you. In order for me to understand and be able to clarify issue, I may ask difficult questions. When it comes to those tough questions, I would need you to help me do your best in answering those questions. Before we are moving on to the next session, which is your own opening statement, I would like to set up some ground rules together. Is that all right? Thank you. May I ask that you put your cell phones on silent? Please allow one person to talk at a time. I understand that you may have questions or information to add, but please take notes while one person is talking, and I will make sure to listen to you when it's your turn. The key is do not interrupt when one person is talking. You think you can do that? Thank you. I will let each of you start your own opening statements. Then I will spend time with each of you individually in a private session. During this session, everything you share with me is confidential. I will not share to the other party unless I have your permission to do so. The private session may take many rounds. Please bear with me as our goal today is to reach the settlement. Do you have any questions? If no, I would like to continue with your opening statements. Who would like to begin first? Is it okay to let him speak first? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Mr. B, please start your opening statement. Okay, so now that you have seen the demonstration, you'll be practicing your own opening statement, but after I go through each of the topic in the detail. Can I ask whether we be able to do the breakout rooms? Just this image?
I think no, because the organizers who have made the link, they are the ones who will have to go into their settings to allow breakout rooms. And I think they have not done that. As one person said, that you need to have an app again, I think they can only do that from their own Zoom setup. It can't be done by any outsiders like yourself or myself.
Oh, that's very unfortunate.
Previously, we did. One trainer previously managed to do the breakout rooms, but I don't know how he did it. Maybe he had access or his Zoom allowed it. But here, I believe it is the organizers who have to set up the Zoom facility in their Zoom setup.
That's all right. Okay, well, thank you so much, Justice Iman, for helping me with this. So I think I have to go with something else. So now I would like to, instead of doing activities, practicing some skills, so I'll let you guys do something else. For example, to deliver the opening statement and to practice by your own first, and then let some of you read your own opening statement to the rest of the class. Well, from what you've seen at the demonstration, I would like to go through some key components of the opening statement. So you hear that I start with welcoming. I start with welcoming. Mediators begin with welcoming the parties to the session. A simple statement such as, I'd like to welcome the two of you to our center, or I would like to welcome both of you to the mediation can suffice. A common addition to welcoming the party is to press them for coming to mediation table. These welcoming comments set a positive tone at a time when the individuals probably are feeling uncertain. The mediator might say, I'd like to commend you for coming here today in effort to work on your concern together. There are so many versions of welcoming that you can say. So if you like any version that I just give example, you can write it down, because later on, you're gonna have to write your own opening statement. The first one should be delivered conversationally with the mediator's attention and with eye contact split evenly between the two parties. Speaking only to one party might imply favoritism or lack of neutrality. When the mediator does at the outset has a large effect on the overall tone of the session, an approachable mediator with a friendly tone can set the stage for positive interactions. So, like some people might have a soft tone, might use the soft tone as the tactic as a mediator. For example, I use a friendly tone. I do not use the high pitch. I do not use a loud voice as a mediator to soothe the party. This is not an easy thing to do. You need to practice. It is a skill that you need to practice. Some of you may have a very loud, sharp voice that people get frightened easily with your voice when you speak up. You can work on practice your skill, like to practice with your tone and record it and hear it, and you have to keep practicing in order to have the tone that you like to use during mediation. Later on, I would like to talk about the introduction. The next task in the opening statement is to ensure that all the parties are introduced to each other and to the mediator. Several factors are considered as an introduction strategy device. When high tension abounds or the context requires more formality, the mediator may use a title or honorific. For example, the mediator may name herself as Miss Shall We Want Make Up Point and address each party formally as Mrs. Martin and Mr. Randall, or Mrs. or Mr. or Miss, depending on the wishes of the parties. If you choose to use a title for yourself, then referring to your parties as Mrs., Miss, Mr. also advised, or even a if they have some other title, for example, doctor. And informal tone, but the introduction that I used, that I showed you earlier, is more informal. If an informal tone is desired, only the mediator's first name might be used, or you can even let them call you another name. Because, for example, my name is long. Shall we want make up on? So is for some foreigner, maybe it's not maybe it's not easy for them to call me. So I just let them call me Lily. So so this informality opens the door to having the parties to call each other by their first name as well. For example, you may say, hello, my name is Chawiwan Make Upon, please call me Lily. Just as simple as this. You can pick either you want to go with informal or you want to go with the formal one. So now you've got the welcoming part. And later on, the second part is introduction. And then explaining the nature and the scope of mediation. Part of upholding the parties' informed choice and self-determination is ensuring that they understand their rights in the process. The mediator explains that the negotiation process is voluntary. Voluntary means both of them agree to be here. So during the mediation, if one of them chooses to stop the mediation, is their right, and the mediation has to stop. But again, it is the mediator job to show them the some of the advantages and the limitations of stopping the mediation. As a mediator, you have to show them what are the pro and the con. And I believe that later in this class, you will be practicing this, how to let when it comes to dead end, as a mediator, how to let them see the pro and the con. Explaining, and in the opening statement, later on, after explaining the nature of the scope of mediation, you'll be explaining the mediator's role, explaining what mediator will and will not help the party. As my demonstration, the video demonstration, you see that I was clear that my role here today is to assist you. I will not make any decisions for you. Any decision that you make are your own. Additionally, I will not offer any legal advice if you're a lawyer or a judge. But right now you're a mediator. You can say that I will not offer any legal advice. That is not your job. So this is just another version that you can say during your opening statement, explaining the role of mediator. Later on, have to explain the private session. What is the private session? The parties need to understand what private session is and what might happen during a private meeting with the mediator. There may come a point in this process where you may say, okay, there may come a point in this process where I want to meet privately with each of you, meaning that I will meet each of you one-on-one privately. And then when I finish in this room, in the private meeting with this party, I will switch to another party. And I will spend time equally to both discussing in the private room with both parties. And during this session,
Madam, just I want to know a thing, that during the session or during the private session, if there is any admission of a criminal offense by one party, or at least commit an offense that covers the physical violence, or in that situation, sharing the information to the appropriate authority will it, how would be the technical strategy in that situations?
Well, I believe the law are different in each country about this, but confidential, you are talking about confidentiality, right? If someone have a violent crime before,
yes.
For example, in the USA and some state, they have a law that you have to inform the other party about the threat. As a mediator, you have to inform according to the law, but not other countries have shared the same regulation on this issue. So usually the topic that I delivered right now usually will the mediation for commercial or civil contract. Mm-hmm. But I see the point. I see the point. That is very, 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 very good point, because there are laws in many countries saying that, okay, even if you have to be completely confidential, but there are some
exceptions.
That's right, exceptions.
But if I share the very context in our country, that the dispute relating to the family matters or the civil disputes are coming towards us, and we are trying our best for the mediation, and we are sending the cases to the mediation panel, and a group of mediators is working here. But when a judge is doing or is playing the role of the mediator, or a other person, respected person, is doing the role of mediator, in that situation, if they admit that criminal admission relating to the offense of criminal activities, or at least to commit the offense that covers the physical violence, in that situation, will we inform or share that matter to the appropriate authorities? But under the laws of the land, it is a criminal offense or criminal activity.
I'm not sure whether I should answer on this question, but I believe there are, before we go to each mediation, there will be pre-mediation. So I never been doing the criminal mediation before, because in my country, I'm not allowed to do so. So I only do the commercial one. The judge in Thailand, the judge will be doing that. Yes. So they call it in-court mediation. They have annex mediation, and this is the out-of-court mediation. There are two types of mediations. I believe for mediation, there will be pre-mediation if you find out something about some assault or something, some threat for the other parties, you have to share.
Thank you, madam. But is there any other safety issues or safety measures that can be taken during the sessions?
What do you mean, like safety issue, like some violence happened during the mediation?
Yes. Yeah. But if there is any situation, or if a situation arises during the joint sessions or the private meetings, in the situations the parties getting violent.
Do you mean like you just acknowledge the new information during the mediation?
Information not relating to the mediation, but if there is any situation coming before the session that is not pertinent to the issues, but parties are getting violent, in their situations.
Okay, getting violent during the mediation. As a mediator, you have to take control.
Yes.
You have to take control. You have to say that, okay, stop right there, and then you call for help. You call for admin. If you're at the center, you let the admin know. You let the center know. Let the center staff know. That we have a safety protocol. There are some situations that happen that I acknowledge, that where mediator discuss a private session with a party, and that party put a gun on the table.
Madam, just I want to share only one experience relating to this matter, relating to safety issues during the mediation session. That in a family dispute, in our legal system, there are two steps for mediation: pre-trial hearing and post-trial hearing. But in the pre-trial hearing, I have called two parties in my chamber, in my Khash Kamra, meaning chamber for mediation. But they have appeared before me, but one party slept another party during that session. But this is unexpected, but that was real in a sense. In that situation, I had to control that situation. I had to stop the mediation.
May I ask, how did you control? How did you manage the situation?
Yes, I had to control and I had to stop. And after 3 hours, I called again the parties and started mediation. I have successfully completed or settled the disputes through mediation process. But in their situations, the safety issues needs to be taken care of.
Yes, yes. I believe that situation may be varies, and the mediator may take control in their own way. But the most important thing is to concern about the safety issue. If you think you have to stop, then you have to stop. You need to call for help immediately.
Thank you for sharing with all of us. Now, so
Mr. Badal Kumar, in your previous question, in answer to your previous question, I want to add something.
Sure.
In section 89A, subsection 8 of our Code of Civil Procedure 19.8, I want to read out the subsection. The question was, what happens if any party admits any of his criminal activities? What happens? In subsection 8, I want to read it out. The section says,
sure.
The proceedings of mediation under this section shall be confidential, and any communication made, evidence adduced, admission, statement, or comment made, and conversation held between the parties, their pleaders, representatives, and the mediators shall be deemed privileged and shall not be referred to and admissible in evidence in any subsequent hearing of the same suit or any other proceeding. I am saying it again, of the same suit or any other proceeding. Any other proceedings, I think these words are important here. Any other proceedings may include any other criminal proceedings. That means if any party admit guilty in mediation sessions, and this will be privileged. And as a mediator, it may be a mediator, maybe a judge or a lawyer or somebody else. However, such statement will be privileged, and that I think that's my view. I think that cannot be used in any proceeding whatsoever. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for sharing with all of us. Simon, right? Can I call you Simon? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Simon.
Well, Simon. Oh, thank you for sharing with all of us. Well, let's continue to our topic. So after explaining what you have to do during your private session, and you have to remind them about confidentiality during the private session. So for example, if you go through 2 private sessions, you have to remind them about confidentiality twice. At the beginning of the private session, you have to let them know everything you say or tell me during the private session, I will not let the other party know unless I have your permission. The confidentiality is very crucial during the private session. And later on, explaining about impartiality and neutrality. Parties should be made aware of the mediator's commitment to fairness in the process. The mediator may say mediation is negotiation with the assistance of a neutral party. The mediator So this is the video, the version that I demonstrate in the video that you've seen earlier. You may have put on something else in your own word that you are in your own words that you are comfortable with, to explaining impartiality and neutrality. Or you can go for the longer version than mine. For example, during the mediation, I am impartial, meaning I don't have any stake in the outcome of the issue you decide here today. And neutral, meaning I have no bias toward either of you personally. So this is another version that you can use to write on your own opening statement. Next is confidentiality. For example, the mediator may make the following promise. Anything you say to me today, I would hold confidential, and I would like you to do so. So this is a short version. You can have a longer version that say the same about confidentiality. And after confidentiality, you can establish some ground rules. Ground rules create expectation for courtesy and inform the disputants or the parties of what is and is not appropriate behavior. For example, from the video that I show you, I set up some ground rules. Please allow one person to talk at a time. And I believe that you have information to exchange if you just let the other party talk first, and then I will come back to you later. Just say something like this. Set up the ground rule together at the very beginning. Otherwise, if you forget to mention about this, and then the mediation continue and two people are arguing, and it is very hard for you to stop them. And some other rule might be, you may talking about the time constraints. Because mediators, as a mediator, you should ensure that there will be sufficient time to explore issues and negotiate effectively. For example, you can add something simple like, okay, I have scheduled the room until 4 p.m. today, so we can take the time we need to work on your concerns. Do you have to be anywhere else before that or after that? Just ask them. So you have on your mind that, okay, party A has to catch a flight, or party B has to pick up some of their family members at their school, something like this. You have on your mind, just to discover time constraint. And other than that, just for the cell phone issue, put the cell phone on silent mode. Some mediator may ask the party to turn off the cell phone, but for me, I believe that some urgent call may be needed to be picked up, or some text messages you may need to see. Just put them on silent. So after we finishing all of these crucial points, is the time to move or transition to the party's opening statement. So in transitioning to the party opening statement first, mediators should ask who will talk first. If no one say anything, it is the mediator job or mediator role to decide and present some rationale to parties for the choice. For example, letting the person who first contacted the center or contacted the mediator or the one who brought the case up. So it could be you were both referred to the BIMS mediation centers. So I will have Thomas, who first filed the mediation to the center, go first. Is that all right, Mr. B? Okay, thank you. If you say yes and then you say thank you. Could you tell us what brought you here today, or just something simple like this? You just ask permission. If no one say anything, you just okay, can I let this person go first because this person filed the case first, and then ask permission from the other party. And now you can let them share their own version of their opening statement. And here are the the whole picture of the opening statement. And later on is very crucial because I would like all of you to spend some time on yourself, because there will be no breakout rooms. So we'll just be here together. But please put the microphone on
Lily,
mute.
If I may interrupt you just for a moment.
Yes, please.
I think we are trying to get your breakout rooms. So if you take just 5 minutes break,
oh, okay.
I can announce to everyone that we are going to leave from this meeting altogether.
Okay.
And
okay.
if everyone can join soon as possible within the next 5 minutes, then we can resume after 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
We will all leave and then start afresh, as if we are joining the meeting afresh.
And then come back to the same link?
Yes.
Okay.
The link will be the same. It's just that the new breakout room has been enabled now, but I think we have to restart in order to be able to give effect to it. So let's try it. Let's see what happens. So everybody, please leave the meeting and then rejoin as soon as you can.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's see.
Okay, sir.